Hey all, Board Game Rants here, where you'll find everything solo tabletop gaming and more. Thank you for joining me. Last MVP show of the year, most voraciously played for the month of December. Here we go. And what a year it has been. Am I right? I'll be able to actually go through the game part of this fairly quickly. I think maybe I'll make this more of a holiday special. I don't know. 'Tis the season, but I did so many reviews over the past month, most of what I'm about to talk about. So I can kind of just sort of point you in the right direction, and you can follow the link below, or you just check out the channel. You can find a lot of reviews, full reviews on these games I'm about to mention. Because, I don't know, I just had the time, the inclination, the energy. I just did them. So I was on the ball. And I will start with the norm. That is, I got 41 plays across 8 different games here in the month of November. Finishing, or not finishing, but I played a couple games of Seastead. Now, I didn't do a full review on this. It's a very small, colorful, beautiful game, but I think I mentioned last week, and it was a little bit lacking. The solo, I felt, was just kind of tacked on. It left out a lot of stuff, that was in the game for the normal 2-player version. You didn't get to use all the stuff and the other sides of the tiles. The more advanced part of the game was not solo compatible. So that was disappointing. So I got 2 more plays into that. Can't say I recommend that for a solo. Infinity's Defiance of Fate, got 5 more plays into that, and did a full review on that. Kind of a mixed review, but you should check that one out if you haven't already. Assault on Doom Rock, that was the dice rolling can drive you crazy on there. I've been playing a lot of games recently, where you're rolling dice and sort of worker placement or based on the value that you roll determines the quality or what you can do. I've been playing a lot of games like that recently, but this one's definitely can get you. I mean, it can definitely roll some dice and you're in the middle of battle and you can't even attack, and it's weird. but there's so much quirkiness in this game, and it's humorous enough, and it moves at a fast enough pace that it sort of balances out, and very generally I enjoyed it. So you might check that review out. Warp's Edge, very it's solo only game. I think it's second in the series. I skipped the first one, Proving Ground I think it was called. Skipped that one. It didn't look along my style. I didn't even know what it was until someone pointed it out to me. But because this one says, in this hero solo series or something like that. So Warp's Edge, though, I did a full review on that, liked it, and much different game pace wise. It's a bag building game. We got little chits there, so along the lines of a deck builder, but it's a bag builder. But great pace and a cool little theme and vibe to it. Enjoyed that. You might check that review out. Circadian's First Light, got 6 more plays into that before I just put that away and did a full review on that. And again, another one where you're rolling the dice and then you get to take actions with them based on their value. That one was pretty unique though, in that it just really you didn't get a sense like, oh, the dice hate me. You didn't even get to re-roll either. You roll each round, and there's 8 rounds, and I mean, you get what you get, but the game was designed in such a way that there was always something you could do. And I found that, I find that pretty impressive. So it really took out there was no like upgraded mitigation factor you needed to go for in the game. It was just built in. So I found that interesting. Very much enjoyed that game. I seem to have a knack for it. There's some games, I feel like most games I'm just not very good at. And that's fine. I still enjoy playing them, but this one just seemed to click with me, and might check the review out on that. Circadian's First Light. That was a S.J. McDonald who did Architects of the West Kingdom and stuff like that with Shem Phillips. And anyway, so, and back to Warp's Edge too. Warp's Edge is another huge designer. They're the guy that did all the Tiny Epic stuff. So got some good games from some up and coming designers and some well established ones. Another game, The Reckoners. And I only played this once, and I played it with my wife, and it's based on the books by Brandon Sanderson. So how, what's there not to like if you like those books? But I wanted to finish, she had finished the first book, then I read it, the Reckoners series. And oh, it's great. It's just fantastic. You know, I mean, we're like the books. We're currently reading. She's on the third one. I'm on the second one. And I wanted to get through the first ones because I didn't know if there was any spoilers there. But as soon as I did, then we pulled out the game. We played it 2 players. And it's good. It's just good. I mean, it's beautiful too. I mean, talk about an overproduced game. That's this one. Looking forward to maybe getting, you know, my kids to try playing it as well. But again, another dice rolling, and then it allow, you know, you basically take actions based on what you roll there. So, but so far so good. But only got 1 play into that, and not solo. That was a 2-player. Labyrinth, War on Terror. I got 5 more games of this in, and did a full review. This one, you know, I take with a grain of salt. You know, I mean, I liked the game, but I didn't like the game. But I think it had a lot to do with just. It's one of those genres of games, or in the genre of games that I don't have a lot of experience in, war games. I think it's a very particular thing, and it kind of requires a particular appetite, and I've never really had that appetite, so I never really dug in, and it was limiting. You know, I found it cumbersome. I just could never get the flow of it. But there were some great comments there on that review that I did, and I totally respect the opinion. Some of these people are like, you know, this is my favorite solo game of all time, and I feel like I can get it. I'm certainly intrigued, and I'm not giving up by any means. I have no desire really, you know, especially after these comments, to like get rid of Labyrinth. I feel like I still need to like conquer it or something. You know, I bow down to the expertise of people who have played these games and got this mechanic of this, you know, this graph reading and all this, you know, if X then Y and Y then X and X and Y Z and this. And I mean, there's a lot of solo games out there like that, but it's games have moved away from that to more of an automa style, or, you know, there's a lot of different styles. But this one, yeah, it took me a while to wrap my head around, and you might check out, though, the full review on that, because I had plenty to say, of course, there. Pipeline. 10 plays of Pipeline. This is my MVP of the month by far, and it doesn't even have an official solo variant. It has a fan-made variant, had a couple of them. The one that I really latched onto, knew that I'd probably like the most, was an automa style. You go, you print out stuff, you cut up your cards, you sleeve them up, and you play this fantastic Euro game. I love it. In fact, when I cleared off Circadians, I was like, maybe I'm going to bring out Pipeline again, because it's awesome. And I mean, I did a full review on this as well. And you know, I would say, you know, so far, although I've got something else now competing with it, I'll mention that here in a second. But as far as fan-made solo variants go, this is the best one that I played this year. I mean, if it came with the game, I'd be like, man, they did a great job. So hats off to BGG and those people that develop these awesome solo variants that allow solo players like myself and you all to enjoy games that we otherwise wouldn't be able to. And so I thoroughly appreciative of that. So Pipeline, my MVP of this past month. Seastead would still be my disappointment. I don't remember if it was last month. But moving on, one game that I guess is going to have to be on the next show officially, but I've already gotten like 8-9 plays of this in. Roll for the Galaxy. Roll for the Galaxy was another one. Didn't have an official solo variant, but it's been out for a long time, and I'm a super fan of Roll for the Galaxy. And I knew it was just a matter of time before I was going to pick this game up. And then it's come out with a couple expansions, and I've just always had my eye on it. And it has a couple different solo fan-made variants. And I think I had settled on the one that I was probably going to like the most. But there was one, too, that just like wickedly quick. It took a minute to read through the rules and just be able to implement it so you could learn the game. But if you've already played Race for the Galaxy, this is going to be no trouble at all to learn. And again, it's about rolling the dice and then, you know, using those dice. But this is like one of my favorite games of all time. I mean, quite frankly. And Race for the Galaxy was way back when. Tom Lehman, I think is the designer name. That was one of the very first, the OGs of solo variants, official solo variants. It was a bot that I think came with an expansion. But this is years ago. And so it's kind of weird that Roll for the Galaxy didn't come with an official solo variant. But I have played the Heck, in fact, the very first play, halfway, not even halfway through the game, of the base game, playing the solo variant, I stopped and I grabbed my phone and I promptly ordered the expansion Ambition, because I just knew I was going to love this game, and I've since got Ambition just, I think, a couple days ago, and I've been playing the hell out of it. Love this game. Again, didn't come with the official solo variant, has a unofficial solo variant that's just wickedly done. So, but that's coming. I'll talk more about that. And what else? I've got Newton that I want to check out. You know, it's kind of just it's like a Euro game, and it comes with official solo variant. I've always been kind of curious. Got a good deal on it. Magnastorm, which is kind of a strange one. I think it's the same people that produced one of my favorite solo games of all time, Gaia Project. And it kind of reminded me, but from what I understand, it's not. But it has an unofficial solo variant that I'm going to be checking out to see if it's any. It looks very well developed, so that's in the pipeline, I guess, as well. I feel like there's some others that but not a bunch. I don't have I'm not, there's not a big rush here to play a bunch of games. It's been kind of a low key year. And so I'm kind of curious what I'm going to come up with kind of my top 10 list for this year. It's going to be different. It's not, well, we'll see. Video games wise, as you all know, I'm an avid video game player, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Oh man, my wife and I we'll just spend hours just late at night, and I'll go and I do most of the battling, and then she does most of the looting. It's just a fantastic game, even though it's not 2-player co-op like Borderlands or something like that. It's still works great for couples, I think, and it certainly does for us, and we've enjoyed other Assassin's Creed, so we've been playing the hell out of it. I don't know, like 50, 60 hours. I don't know, it's a lot of hours, and just past month on that one. Anything else? Ooh, I got Too Many Bones, the my trove chest. Oh, okay, I gotta show it off. All right, there it is. In the scheme of things, look at it, fits beautifully in the whole game shelf doohickey here that's become very popular among gamers. Anyway, this thing slides right off like that. And then, to get into the Too Many Bones goodies, you grab yourself your little magnetic doohickey and skabamos! And there, and we got the extra stickers, we got all the rule books and reference sheets, and then in here we've got, yes, all the different characters you can play. I mean, check that out, it's just beautiful looking. Beautiful storage for all the dice, and just so well done. I mean, it's as fun to look at as it is to play. That's not true, but it's close. Then what else we got here? Yeah, then we got all these neoprene. Too Many Bones is known for making basically a game you could play underwater. So you got all these neoprene mats and all the characters and stuff. I bet you this bag would not hold up well underwater, but these cards would. Got my cards here all sectioned out. And then you got down here, you got your health chips, you got your Too Many Bones, a lot of your dice there that you'll be using through most games. Sliding on over, yep, there we go. There's all our baddies, all the baddie chips sectioned out. Just looking snazzy, looking sharp. And then here's all our bad guys, the tyrants. Very well done. And beautiful little cases here that hold the chips and the dice, and room for more. But oh, that was the small box. Here's the one that's all loaded up with all the bad guys that you could ever want to play. Loving it, very well done, and truly, I mean, just centerpiece. That's why it's smack dab in the center of my gaming collection, because it's just one of the best games or systems of games for solo of all time, in my opinion. You know what? Let's just take a look. Let's just have a quick look into my life again. This is my nook. This is where I spend the bulk of my time. I was calculating it out. I think I spend 2 to 3 hours a day in this area on average, because I was looking at how many games I've played, about how much time it must take me to play games over the course of the year, the time reading manuals, and And I'm running out of room too. I mean, I've just got games just stacked up over here that I can't just don't have, tucked into corners there for Vita Lacerda and Escape Plan. And I've even got games down here hiding just on the floor. I really need to do something about that. But I got, of course, beautiful setup. Got the little TV there in case there's a game to watch. Backing out here a little bit. There's another. I mean, you never know. Maybe you got a video game to play. You gotta have a game in the background to listen to on that TV. And then over here, the wife can be watching whatever she wants to watch. What we got over there? Christmas! Merry Christmas, everyone. The tree is up. We've still got a lot of wrapping to do. Dead dog. He's actually not. I mean, he looks dead, but completely unimpressed with my production here. So I think I'd like to wrap up this year's final MVP show expressing my gratitude. Thank you so much for being a part of this channel. Anyone who's new to it, I've enjoyed the growth in subscribership over these number of months as I get to enjoy this hobby that we all love, but then found a way to meaningfully give back, give some value, at least my opinions on games. It might help you learn more about games and make some decisions that could make or lose you some money. But that has added something, a dynamic to this hobby that has given it that much more meaning. And I'm just very thankful because you're a part of it. And if I didn't have any audience like yourself, well, then it wouldn't be very meaningful. So thank you for humoring me at the very least. And as far as the pandemic goes, I hope as much as possible. Right now in the US, it is raging worse than it's ever been. I've been fortunate. I've not lost any loved ones to this. I know many people have. And without focusing on the doom and gloom, because that's all we hear about, I do want to offer my sincerest condolences for anyone watching that has experienced that level of pain. But on the brighter side, some of the things that I've learned, at least about myself, I think we've all learned a lot about ourselves because we've just had more time than ever to contemplate. But I'm very appreciative of just being home. I would have guessed in the prime years of my career working life that I'd spend the year home. So accessible to family. What a crazy blessing that has been. Also with work. We've tried things at work that we never would have tried before because we never had to. And then we found that it's worked. And so I know on the other side of this, which is we're still in the middle of this, but on the other side, as I mentioned early on in March, that there were going to be positives, that people were going to come out stronger because of this and more aware and just oddly better off in many respects. And even in work, there's going to be so many ways to cut back unnecessary hours and trips and commutes, and that is going to develop that never would have developed otherwise. I'm also thankful that, in a weird way, that the pandemic, we were given this test run with COVID and not something as devastatingly deadly as, say, Ebola. This is a horrific test run, and you would hope the world would never have to, but it did, and now we got a sense of if something as scary and as many times more deadly, like Ebola or something, comes along, we'll be that much more prepared for it. Aside all that, thank you again for being a part of this part of my life. I hope you have the most wonderful of holidays, that you stay safe, and everyone stays healthy. And until next time, I'm Board Game Rants, and I'm out.